Local candidates spending the weekend doing some last-minute campaigning ahead of Election Day Tuesday, and helping us keep an eye on some of the big races is WSBT-22 political analyst Jack Colwell. Jack, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We're talking about some of the most interesting races in our area. South Bend's mayor's race, Elkhart mayor's race, and of course perhaps the most interesting of all of these, the 2nd District South Bend Common Council race.
Those are the three big ones.
Yeah, let's start with the South Bend mayor's race. Probably the most predictable of the three. We've got incumbent Democrat Mayor Pete Buttigieg going up against relative newcomer Kelly Jones. How do you see this race taking shape on Tuesday?
Well, it's not much of a race, really. Mayor Buttigieg appears almost certain to win re-election. Just look at the amount of money that they've raised. Not that money decides everything, but I think in the last report that Jones had $4.02, something like that, and the mayor had over $300,000. She just is not getting much support, even from the Republican organization.
Jones came out last week saying she was endorsing Henry Davis Jr. for South Bend Common Council District 2 race. Why do you think she did that? Could that help her get some more votes?
Well, she needs almost anything to get attention and to get more votes. So that's part of it, something to try to get voters to focus on her and maybe, win a few more votes.
Yeah. All right. Elkhart mayor's race, not as predictable. We've got two-time incumbent Dick Moore running against Republican Tim Neese. Both have name recognition. Neese, of course, a longtime lawmaker in Indiana, serving on the Indiana House. Will this be a close race?
I think it will be. A lot of people thought that Tim Neese was coming on really strong, and sort of a feeling that Mayor Moore, although having done a good job, maybe should be retiring now. But now Moore is fighting back, and I sense that it could be a close race, very close.
Tim Neese been working at this for, I think, some 27 months.
He has.
But Mayor Moore just starting his campaign several weeks ago.
Yes.
Do you think that'll have an effect?
Well, I think so. I think probably the mayor, like most incumbents, sort of thought, well, I've done a good job. Everybody knows that, so they'll vote for me. But that's not necessarily the case. You have to go out and give voters a reason to vote for you rather than your opponent. So he's trying to draw a contrast there on TV with spots and with mailers. And as I said, I think it could end up as a close race.
Yeah, too close to call, really, at this point.
Well, I'm not going to call it.
All right, on to the 2nd District race in South Bend. This is a fascinating one.
Yes.
On one hand, we have Regina Williams-Preston, who's running on the Democratic ticket. Recent headlines calling her a slumlord after the South Bend Tribune reported she had thousands in unpaid code enforcement fees and penalties. Yes. But on the other hand, you have Henry Davis Jr. running for his current seat as an independent. He's up for a hearing with the election board in a couple weeks because of complaints saying that he filed a fraudulent election campaign finance report. Not to mention, he himself admitted that he filed that report on purpose. So how do you see these controversies affecting these two candidates? And can you make a prediction on this race?
No, I can't. At least I won't. It seems to give voters a choice between two flawed candidates. Certainly, Henry Davis Jr. has had a lot of problems, and they're well known. But his opponent with these problems, with the substandard housing that apparently she owned and didn't fix up, and also with back taxes. Normally, if you're going to run for office, you ought to pay your taxes, make sure you're up to date on that before you file. So those are problems for her, and he's got a lot of problems too. And I guess the voters in the 2nd District are just going to have to decide which one they would really like to see represent them.
Jack, we know you'll be watching, and we will look forward to hearing some of the things that you have to say, of course, after the election on Tuesday.
Okay.
Jack
Thanks.
Colwell, thank you so much.
Thank you.